Team Aster's turn to ban.
Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Team Aster's turn to pick.
Jungle Shaman.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Team Aster's turn
Radiant
to pick.
team pick.
Visage.
Monkey King.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Dexter at saka kay Jacket ng Harbor City at saka
Team Aster's turn to ban.
Hyper.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Shoutout kay Dexter ng Harbor City at saka kay Jacket.
Radiant team ban.
Team Aster's turn to ban.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
Team Aster's turn to pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Radiant team pick.
Alchemist.
Now they pick up the Alchemist. So
Is that offlane Alk?
looks like it.
It could be. It could be offlane. It could be mid as well.
10
Could be
seconds
mid
remaining.
Wyvern.
It's no. I think the last 3 picks of Aster are their cores.
Choose your hero.
Yeah.
I think you put the Alchemist mid now after the Ursa pick, right?
Got picked by Monet and mid Tiny.
Mid tiny. So I was okay. So mid tiny versus the puck.
That's
that
not what
does make sense.
Yeah.
So we're traveling back in time. 4 position Monkey King for Bobica.
A classic.
If there's-
A classic.
It was placed. It was played. Sorry, not placed. It was played last game on 4. And when you think about it, it's Boboka. Like if anyone is gonna play that for Monkey, it's gonna be him.
I mean,
He made it look so broken when he was originally doing that in DAC. Granted, that hero at the time was also way more broken.
It was ridiculous. It was basically busted.
It was. But
10 seconds
I
remaining.
actually love this swap up, actually. I really like it. I think, this stun from the trees is going to really help them out, versus both PYW on the Shaman, cancelling those shackles and just catching him out first. You need the vision and you need the stuns. A carry Monkey King, it's too risky to put him too far forward and have trying to scout the backlines. It doesn't work. You put that on a pos 4 and that actually can work for you. You have that stun from the trees for the puck as well. I really like this. I do like this swap here. I was initially going to go for Xtreme, but I think that change has actually swayed me towards going for Aster. I mean, I'm just really happy though. I mean, about 2 things. One is that the last drafts were kind of ignoring each other and just picking 5 heroes which were good with each other. This is complete opposite. They're just trying to answer each other. Really feels like a battle between these 2 teams to get the better counts at the outdraft. So I think that's really cool. And secondly, there's just so much comfort here. There's so many signature heroes coming out that I'm not even going to go through and list them because we'd be here all day. It's just going to be a super exciting matchup. And I think I'm going to go for Aster for this game, number 1. Lizard, you look like you're contemplating.
I'm just split down the. These teams can take game. I still feel that Ursa is decent, but they need to really press the tempo and win that early game. Can they win it versus Visage? Hard to say. I'm gonna go with Aster as well with Monet's Alchemist. I feel that shoot for him, and eventually he.
It's a long history of playing this Alk. Where you leaning?
I'm actually leaning a little bit on Xtreme. I think that Paparazzi's on a really showstopper hero. We've seen him really just have these exciting games where he controls tempos. And I think if he gets off to the right start, he's in a potential spot to really get away with things. So it'll be exciting to watch. But I do think it's really close, like 55-45.
Yeah. I'm just 50-50 as well, to be honest. I'm just going the build, the team which looks nicer, right? The team which just like I can kind of see winning. I can visualize their team fights, but I really have no idea.
That's good.
I'm very exciting. Yeah. So are we ready to get into it? I think we are.
Let's go.
All right, Big Up Lizard, take it away for game number 1 of Aster versus Xtreme Gaming.
30
Big up. I
seconds
feel
to
that what Nomad just said about just feeling what looks nicer, I don't know if it's good for everyone, but for a pro player, I've actually had this discussion many times. You just intuitively kind of know what draft is better. You can't really put it into words, right? But you kind of feel, you kind of see what's gonna happen. I disagree with Nomad for this game at least because I don't feel anything. I need to wait and see it played through,
Well, I think it's also the visualization that we've been covering this region for so long, and you do kind of get that feeling from these like teams and players.
Teams?
Yeah, you get that like we've seen this before, we've seen that. Like Monet's a very reliable one on a very farmy one, and then Alchemist is exactly that. We used to see Monet on different things like Razor. I wasn't as confident when he would play things like that, but when he's on these very farmy ones, I feel like the team's very well suited at making the game easier for him.
The only thing that I'm like thinking as well, there's this overgrowth with Nether Toxin versus Visage versus Monkey versus Alchemist. All of them are gonna suffer if Viper has a good game, which he should, right? Like, how do you actually contest him on top lane? I don't think that that's doable. Contesting him versus like what, Alchemist and the Wyvern, he can literally solo lane here.
Yeah, level 1 doesn't exactly look that pretty when all you've got is that unstable concoction. Like, cool, you threw that out. What did that accomplish for you? Like, it just leaves old 11 to either right-click you and put some damage on the Alchemist or farm pretty reliably. PYW might actually be in trouble. He's kind of caught in a weird position, but he plays the trees perfectly. Like, that was really well done to avoid that stun.
Was that sentry just planted? I think he tried to get a glimmer of vision there with the sentry for the stun. Didn't really work, but that's what we see very often. Unstable concussion, level 1, then acid spray, then later on only do they get Grievous Greed.
Why do that with a hero that's designed to be a heavy gold accumulator? Like, what's the point? I don't really...
I think so the point is, like, if you don't go for it, you won't be able to last it anyway in the lane, maybe, you know, and you need to do well in the lane in order to actually put yourself in a position in which level 2, 3 you can actually do something. Stop.
Yeah, throwing these right clicks on a pick you and he's getting the stack still. See,
Yeah.
he should still have first blood. And PYW not even looking to steal it, and he could, having that high a damage this early in the game with that second highest base damage in the game.
I think it's good because they need an earlier vessel on old 11. Like, this vessel is going to be a game changer. You buy it. It's good versus Alchemist, versus Cold Embrace, versus Visage. Amazing versus Tiny. Like, super high value item.
He's got the urn already. Like, it's flying out to him.
Yeah.
He's done a good job this early on into the game. And it's this series, like, you do have great mids in Ori and Paparazzi. Like, that's a classic matchup in terms of two players. What draws me into this matchup the most, honestly, is XXS against Old 11. I think that's like two very old guard offlaners, and it's exciting.
I must be very old if XXS is old guard, but
he's played a long time. He has that record of him and Bobica together. So
no, of course, he's very young though. Yeah, he's a very, very young player, but he just started when he was like, what, 15 or something? I think his first minor in Kiev or Bucharest was when he was like 15, 16. Incredible.
This is only 22. That's wild. His career's been so like
good already, right?
Yeah, it's flourished so much at 22.
Yeah. Like, last year he was considered the best like player in the whole region. He was the MVP of the region overall, not only the offlaners.
In that perfect world ceremony, right?
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to the mid lane that you mentioned, the CS is even and so is net worth. Like, Puck is doing pretty damn well versus the Tiny.
You almost.
Good job so far from him.
22 and 6 for both of them. I could definitely see Paparazzi doing more. Like, the whole, going back to the Nomad having the feeling, when you kind of can visualize it more. Like, I can visualize Paparazzi doing way more with this Puck than I can Ori doing the same with the Tiny.
Yeah, it's like, you have to... You just see the Tiny and you're thinking, who are his targets? He's a mid-Tiny, so this is your Blink Dagger builder. It's not your carry, right? So who are his targets? Who is he jumping on? The only hero that I see is Shadow Shaman. Everyone else is going to be a difficult nut to break, to crack, right? So,
and even Shaman might be difficult if PYW is quick with the fingers, gets a quick hex out when you blink in on top of him.
But he has some positive sides, though. This Tiny sometimes finds it difficult to get on top of heroes, but when you have... This is going to be a stretch now, but stay with me. When you have someone like Visage, who always wants to pressure towers, right? It actually makes the game for someone like Tiny very easy, as Visage is always showing himself and showing the enemy heroes who need to defend. And then your job as a Tiny is just to stop them from defending. Jump the backlines and make that dive actually happen.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. Like XXS forces a response. He forces you to come into their vision, and then Tiny's there to jump on it.
Yeah. It's pretty much very easy for him to cut the backlines and get those pickoffs that are needed.
So I like that way of looking at it. I wonder what other heroes are kind of like that. I feel like anybody who's like a significant pusher who's got like an extra vision.
Yeah,
especially like Beastmaster fits that bill, where it's like you have the Hawk, you give that extra vision, you know what you're pulling into the affair.
It doesn't even have to be one hero. It can be like a combination of 4. We used to have that problem in some teams. Like we would try to find ways how to push with push strats. Something was always missing. Then we realized, yeah, it's not about getting that 5th pusher. It's just getting the thing that deals with our usual shortcomings, and that's pickoffs, stopping them from actually defending. So Tiny is great for them.
Open lane. Oh my god. He's 1 creep away from level 6.
Oh, Viper?
Yeah. Old 11, he's just like on it.
Yeah. He's got it now. And Tiny is coming in with haste, so this might be
Dire's middle
let's see. Instant save.
Jackal. He'll have the avalanche, he'll have the toss, they'll get the kill into PYW. Going after Old 11 is not as simple though. He's got that magic wand, he's got 17 charges, and you don't want your out to run in too far.
And he's got Puck rotating in. Paparazzi is already top. They might go and dive this Alchemist.
One needs to be careful.
They know though, right? There's no Puck on mid lane.
He's still going. And they TP up, and there's the stun of Old 11. They should have... Oh, he doesn't have the mana for the avalanche, so he has just a toss, which is forced Ori into a bad position. Old 11's just free to right-click. They use the Dream Coil to keep Ori vulnerable.
He didn't TP out. He needs to do it now.
Yeah, while Bobica is getting a kill on a DY over bottom, they're going to jump back up towards top. They TP out and pick you.
Radiant are scanning.
Invisibility!
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
A prize!
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Cold and sweet.
Puck out! Silence!
My dear friend,
up. Have in the jungle.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yes, not successful at all. Far from it. That was another disaster. Plus, the worst thing about it is Monet didn't even lose any time farming. He was just in the neighborhood, right? And he sees this fight happening. He's like, okay, I'll join. I'll get some bonus experience, some bonus gold, and move back into the jungle farming. This is like one thing needs to be said though. It was very close to being really good for Xtreme, right? The way they're fighting,
killing Ori.
Yeah, exactly. They had some situations in which it could have ended, and that could have ended much better for them. Sadly, they didn't. And you might think, is it really the right call to go on the Wyvern like that? Perhaps not.
And it's only going to get tougher, right? Like, especially once this Wraith pack comes out for XXS. You're not gonna have the feeling of oomph in your fights for a little while. Obiko was set up pretty well as in that exchange there. Boundless Strike, Wukong's, he's set to just make the arena. Not that that arena for him is doing that much damage, but it sets the boundaries for where Aster want to fight.
It's chaos, right? They go into the pits, but so far they were really good at scouting this on Aster. Can they make it in time? I think they can. Look at this. Blink Dagger, Tiny. He should know. Oh, okay. Okay.
Cutting it really close and not going for it.
What happened? I wonder what was on what his thought process was, because the smoke broke obviously from the pit. It didn't break from the high ground. He still went on the high ground instead. But okay, it's not the biggest loss. It definitely does give this breath of fresh air to Xtreme Gaming. Makes it a bit easier for them to go about the next couple of minutes.
I worry that this Aegis is almost like, if it's used to farm, it could be this double-edged sword, right? Yes, we've got this Aegis, we feel comfortable farming and conceding a little bit of time. Conceding that time is double-edged against an Alchemist lineup and what they've got going for Aster.
Yeah, I see your point. I can see that as well, but I don't think that they will farm with it.
Yeah, I think they desperately need to fight.
Yeah. At least pressure, right? Use that Aegis to pressure a bit.
Leave is coming out for Visage, yeah. The timing might work out for Aster. Now he might get too much confidence from the Aegis, and all of a sudden, Wraith Pact comes in, and that fight gets way harder.
Pact and Radiance completed, so.
Yeah, just jumping in with a couple of hold the phone.
Winter's Curse.
A little bit of time for the weather,
PQ on the run. Actually, a lot of damage being done to Paparazzi just by the Shadow Shaman.
Plain old 11.
as well.
Yeah, if they can get old 11, this is a good kill to get. Again, they've got that Wraith Pact. They'll have Bubika going with the Wukong's command. Soul Assumption's there. Viper Strike thrown out, but they've got more than enough damage to handle old 11, and they get another kill on the Viper, and that's concerning with Viper falling into obscurity.
Now, Mr. Statsman, Nomad. What's your
All right, I'm ready. This is my window. Tiny, and this is in pub games, by the way, but Tiny and Visage have a 60% win rate together, which for pubs is, considering we're looking at thousands of games, that's pretty significant. So,
They committed the Serpent Wards. Yeah. There's no Roche to take with it.
But yeah, Tiny the third most powerful duo in pubs being played together. So
I think overall it's really strong. Like this duo on offlane as well. We play Visage plus Tiny. Like your pubbers are gonna be feeding 100%. Toss Avalanche plus Soul Assumption, you're dead. It's to be expected, I'd assume. Interesting that Ursa is going for Battle Fury, by the way, so he wants to be able to scale against the Alchemist, which he can do fairly well. But there is this one point in the game in which Alchemist has 3 items and you still have 1.5. And that time is coming very, very shortly.
Is it enough though, like Radiant's BKB Blink, is that 3 items that really outmark the Ursa if he goes into the Battle Fury?
Is under attack.
I think it gives a timing for Aster to take over. Right? You have this Visage, you have the Tiny from the mid lane, and you're able to jump in.
Radiant structures.
So it's time for you to start taking some objectives once that happens. I think at least that is good enough.
Is under attack.
I like the Yules on Bubika, who's just been caught.
Yeah. It's caught. Viper coming over. Ori's nearby. Wukong's again. Boundless Strike. And PYW's here. They're going to try and get a quick kill on the Bubika. He's doing a lot of damage, though. W dies to the avalanche of Ori while trying to get the kill here on the Monkey King.
Wait, what happened to PYW? Did he just get that low from the Wukongs?
I think so. I mean, there's nothing else that would have done that.
Yeah, I thought maybe he was already low tipping in. I scratched my eye and he died. I literally closed my eye for a second.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He took 889 damage from Wukong's command.
Yeah.
And then just an avalanche more was enough.
We'll take that.
So Alkaz, BKB, Ursa doesn't have Battle Fury yet. We also went Orb of Corrosion and bought a Morbid Mask.
Yep.
So this wasn't like straight into the Battle Fury.
Yeah, it's just an early rush, right? With that Morbid Mask. But like you said, they didn't use the... They didn't really use the rush advantage to take anything away. They just continued farming. He will complete his Battle Fury uncontested at least, so... I mean, overall in the late game, Ursa can be strong versus the Alchemist. It's not that horrible, it's just that you need to get there.
I guess the Aegis is a bit of a deterrent against Aster fighting them, and it does give Lu time to like farm up, but that Aegis is only going to be so much of a deterrent for so long.
I love the shard on Visage, I love them converging on mid lane, I love the smoke. Very standard stuff from all of them. Go straight into the triangle. They're looking for... Maybe it's PYW that will get caught instead. Yeah, he breaks the smoke.
Breaks the smoke and is allowed to just run.
Nicely done. I think they didn't expect the smoke to be broken from the left anyway. They expected it from the high ground.
Under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
This is typical Alchemist gaming now, where like the net worth lead is not really as accurate of a game state monitor.
Tower has fallen.
Yeah, it's just 8k ahead, and out of that 8k, the difference on the Alchemist, what, 5k? He's getting. Okay, so... But the state of the game is also that it's not like Aster is defending. It's not like they're hiding and securing this filthy position one Alchemist. No, they're just controlling the map completely. XS.
He sees DY, but does he get the kill? Paparazzi's in with the silence. This isn't exactly the shard again. Winter's Curse locks up Old 11, and he hasn't really felt effective in the last few minutes, and they're going to get a quick kill on the Viper. They throw down the Overgrowth. Who wants to fight this? Serpent Ward's committed again, and these are just cleaned up easily.
That was just so textbook. I can't believe Xtreme even took the bait and went for the Visage. That was just textbook gaming. You're going on a Visage who has a Wyvern on his side, they will turn with ulti.
Radiant structures.
It looked like a bait from a mile away, right?
Yeah. It's like if fish could tell what a minnow on a hook looked like. They still went for it.
Yeah, it didn't matter to go grab it.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
This does look like just a fisherman's line to me. I wonder if I should grab a bite.
No, just have a taste. Just have a bite.
Radiant's top
Grab
tower
myself a slice.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
What do you think overall about the Visage Shard? I think it's insanely good. Like, if you couldn't go on Visage before, right? Like if he was a hard kill before, with the shard he basically becomes impossible. You just don't have that time. And
yeah, how do you kill the Visage, especially like you're not that, and combined with the Wraith Pact, I feel like Visage by himself is unkillable, but then you've also got the Winter Wyvern.
I just have to say one thing. It's same in pubs. Like in pubs, this shard is good, but it's not nearly as good as in pro games. Because in pro games, those 3 seconds that you're on the ground, right? Like that you're actually placed on the ground, those seconds mean that you're not dying and your teammates are doing something around you. They're setting up time for your teammates. Meanwhile, in pubs, yeah, you drop down on the ground, they wait around you, no one is there to help you. You still die afterwards.
They're running.
It's like inverse. I feel like it's inverse. Aghanims is better than Shard in pubs.
They're gonna try and go on XXS again. It's so difficult for them to make this move, and they've already found PYW. They go after blue, they'll get the kill on the Ursa. Ursa doesn't have anything to defend against this, as he hasn't finished a BKB. Old 11 dies again, and we've felt this Viper since the second death not be able to really accomplish much in this game. And Old 11's just become food at this point.
Yep. This just feels like a stomp with or without the Alchemist. It feels like it's completely out of reach for Xtreme.
Movements are so good for Aster. They know exactly what they're capable of.
So with the Alchemist matchup, I think when I'm looking at Alchemist, I'm always looking at damage per gold, because I think that's really important for him. He's got really crappy damage to gold ratio, obviously, because he has so much gold every game.
Gold, yeah.
Yeah. So he's like 0.7 basically, and the S is at 1.0, so it's a pretty easy conversion. Basically, the S should have about, if the Alchemist is sitting on 18.5k, then the S needs about 12k gold to be able to output the same amount of damage, roughly, generally speaking. Much more complicated than that, obviously, but it's a good base mark, so you can tell the S, even taking into account the fact that Alchemist does naturally farm faster, he is still about 2.5k gold behind where he should be in this matchup.
So Alk has low damage to gold, is what you're saying?
Yeah, of course. 0.7 damage per gold. Meanwhile, Aster is so
just like the God King situation, Aster should pick Monet.
But picking Alchemist, yeah, that's it.
Because I remember we had that conversation about God King not having good gold to damage ratio and then getting kicked up.
Yeah, he said that in the interview, didn't he? He said that, and that's the reason he was kicked. Part of it, anyway.
Dire's bottom tower.
Or his, oh no, it was a social media post, that was it. Anyway, I'll fade away into the night as it looks like a fight's about to break out.
If they catch him, XXS's familiar is
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Here comes Tiny.
Oh! He didn't get the jaunt off. He's dead.
Bottom.
Avalanche kept him close, so where he gets another kill. I was worried about this Tiny. And I did say it earlier in the game that I thought Paparazzi had a more playmaker hero, but Ori's just been enabled so much.
Yeah, and
so
that's one of the reasons why in pubs, Tiny is one of the best counters to Puck in the middle lane. You just saw it. That's why.
But the lane itself is also good for him. And then later on, you just crush. But yeah, he's not the only problem for this Puck. The problem is they just can't take a fight. It's so difficult to take any fights. They need to... Oh, PKB, Alchemist.
Yeah, going in for PYW again. Almost starting to feel bad for the Shadow Shaman at this point, but they do get the Hex off on Ori. I don't know if that's going to hold him out from getting any of these kills. Monet actually gets credit for the kill onto the Shadow Shaman.
Going in.
Charge up the unstable concoction. The BKB is popped with the Viper Strike thrown over onto Monet.
Under attack.
He's got an Aegis, nothing to worry about.
I just love the way he says... Stuns himself. But yeah, how do you defend this? 26 minutes in, Ursa is not ready.
Dire structures are fortified.
Big chunk of damage.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, they're not going to defend it. They want Blue to get the gold for this BKB, so they're committing
at
to
least
concede.
Yeah. It's at least the BKB. I don't even think that they're ready to fight once he gets it, but it's better than fighting without it, right? So
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Look at where Lou is. Like, he's in a completely off area right now. Like, he went all the way around behind the tier 2 mid to get to the triangle on the Dire side while he's losing a second set of racks. They're so desperate for him to get a BKB, so desperate to find some sort of like survival item here. Quick shackle.
He's got it.
Yeah. Now the question is that even like make it viable for you to
look, what's gonna happen now is they're gonna smoke. If they have a smoke, do they? They don't. On the career, yeah. They're gonna smoke. This is that last-ditch effort. You go in, you try to use the BKB and Ursa. Wish them luck, because if this doesn't work, the game is... Yeah, it's GG. Let's go. Monet,
fighting the Aegis too. This is so difficult. There's the blink in with the Hex coming under Monet, but the balance strike, they got the Serpent Wars, BKB. 2 right clicks from Ori, takes out PYW. Who's gonna try and fight this? We got the buyback coming out from the Shadow Shaman as well. Blue over to the side, he's fighting basically 3v1. DY's there for the Overgrowth. Paparazzi behind them, looking for the Winter Wyvern. There's the Druid Coil down, snapping on Monet. The Cold Embrace is out from PQ, and they get PYW again. They'll take out Old 11. They end up losing Bobica, but that's it. All you've lost is the Monkey King. That doesn't really matter. DY kind of caught no man's land. They still almost get this Winter Wyvern, but PQ survives it all. And Avalanche comes out from Ori onto Paparazzi. The toss up, the 2 clicks, though, damage. And now the Winter's Curse, that locks them both away. Ori doesn't have the Avalanche to follow it up just yet. Monet's got a kill on the DY while all this is going on to the bottom, and they'll call GG. They just don't have the damage to get anything. They end up losing Lou, Paparazzi low, and the game goes for Aster in this first one.
That was just GG, really. Just very well played, executed by Team Aster. Can't take anything away from their execution. They played the Alchemist lineup to the T.
Yeah.